So lying down. Let's just take a few moments to lie down. You can have your knees bent or your legs extended. And just take a moment to feel the breath. So really deep inhale. First of all, if you want to, you can use your hands as markers to encourage where the breath goes to, but really breathe into your belly. You can just use your awareness and your breathing into the belliness with the intention. And just take a few breaths, deep breaths to let the belly expand and release. And just seeing how much you can let that belly open, expand. And then simply we let the belly expand and then we breathe into the chest. So belly first, chest second. Maybe you have a hand on each place, just feel that. And let the exhale be the reverse. So just in case you want that tactile feedback, you can place a hand on the chest, a hand on the belly. We're breathing in belly first, then chest. Breathing out through the chest, breathing out through the belly. And just letting that breath become deeper. And feeling yourself on the floor. And from here, bending the knees so the soles of the feet are on the floor. If you're already there, just allowing that to be still the case. We just let the knees drop to the side. So if there's a bit of a gap between the knees or the feet, then one knee will reach more or less to the foot, one knee to the floor. And have a deep breath on your first side. Then take the time lazily to bring the legs back up and let them drop to the other side. You're just gently twisting out that lower back. And see how lazy you can be. So there's no need to keep the knees squeezing together. You just sort of take the legs to the side and gravity will take over and pull them towards the floor. And if gravity is not strong enough, then that leg might be as far towards the floor as it needs to be. So maybe the second leg is just hanging and not reaching the floor, the second knee. And a thing to look for is this, as we go from side to side, is this ricochet. Like as you drop the legs, there should be a little bounce, a little rebound that kind of ripples through the body. So the legs drop and then there's a little rocking backwards and forward. And that's a really good sign for the letting go. And see if you can still be deep with the breath. And for the moment, I want you to be as lazy with gravity as you can. So we're going to see if, as the legs drop to the right, we can begin to slide the left arm over the head, around and over the head. If you can let the hand be lazy on the floor all the way round, the left hand reaches the right hand, then don't pick the hand up. And then see how far forward you can slide that left hand beyond the right hand, not taking anything off the floor. And have a deep breath while you're lying on top of your right arm. And then gently rolling back and sliding that left hand round over the head until it comes out to the side, let the knees drop to the second side and the right hand can slide around over the head and towards that left hand. And you're sliding it forward beyond, seeing how much you can laze on the arm and rolling back onto your back. And sliding that right hand over the head, lazy on the floor, out to the side, left hand over the head. And seeing if you can roll and slide left hand beyond the right arm as far as you can, so you're almost going onto the belly, but that right arm is in the way. And then again back through center. And you can do this faster or slow, several times, but the one rule is lazy with gravity. So don't lift yourself off the floor. Just be lazy to the floor as much as you can. And then we're trying to change the trajectory of that top arm. See if you can just massage the bottom arm as you come in, but massaging across the chest, see how lazy you can be. So just let the arm flop to the floor. And then maybe as we go around on, we go over the head again. So we're reaching over the head and then beyond. And as we're coming back, still lazy, 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 we just massage across the chest and let the arm flop to the floor. And a couple more times. Lazy with gravity. And then we'll be a little bit more prescriptive. So we're going to see, let's just make some carpet dust angels or some snow type angels. So with the legs bent, just reaching both arms together up over the head and then down. Again, lazy, not too heavy with the hands in case it's a friction surface. Just trying to keep them in contact with the floor as easily as they can be. You're just reaching and exploring that movement of the shoulders, of the arms. How far over the head do they reach? And then again, we're going to come round to the side and round to the floor. Let's bring the right hand down by the side. You can choose the other side if you wish. You're going to lift the knees off the floor. The hand is going to be maybe about a hand's width away from the bottom. And you're going to see if you can roll over onto the side. The left arm is going to come round and underneath the head. You want to roll onto your wrist. So you're trying to get your wrist underneath the leg. You want to actually be compressing your wrist with the body. You want to lift the bottom off the floor and just see if you can feel into that. Sinking into that arm and just kind of surrendering down. Maybe you can bring that left hand underneath the head to create a cushion, or the top hand underneath the head to create like a little cushion, so that you can surrender down and be just really lazy. What you want to feel is that that wrist that's underneath the leg is just gently giving something to roll on, something to of the fascia of the leg. So you're just releasing down, feeling that working in. And then we do the same on the same side. We're just going to roll the bottom back to the floor. And we're just going to adjust that hand a little bit further away so that you get a little bit towards the knee. So we're going to go on top of the arm again, on top of the wrist again. You're going to do this 2 or 3 times. So see if you can just come a wrist length further. You're rolling onto the arm, onto the hand, and seeing if you can get the bottom to lift off the floor. So you want to get the knee down to the floor and the bottom to lift off the floor so that you're leaning onto that arm and you're cutting maybe the blood off to the hand for a moment. So if you need to adjust at any point to let the blood go back in, you can. But you're also massaging into the outside of the leg. And then we just roll the bottom to the floor and take the hand a little bit another place along the outside of the leg. So you want to have the knee as much as you can. The arm, the wrist is going along the IT band. So you're rolling a little bit, maybe more towards the knee if you were further towards the bottom. You get the bottom to come off the floor, the knee down to the floor, and you're just lazing on the arm. Lazing on the arm as much as you can. I would suggest palm of the hand facing up. Now, see what's comfortable. And just taking a few more deep breaths, leaning into the outside of that leg. Seeing if you can get the bottom off the floor so that there's even more weight going through the arm. And then we'll do one more time, rolling back a little to the bottom. Maybe you can go one more, reach closer to the knee. Maybe if you were close to the knee, you want to go closer back towards the bottom so that you can roll onto that arm. And it can be quite deep and strong. In that sensation on the outside of the leg, but releasing the leg, opening the leg, opening the wrist. And see if you can come back to that deep breath that we had at the beginning. And then rolling back, and we'll do the same on the other side. I'm trying to another angle. So as we're lying on the back, we're sort of bringing that second hand, maybe the left hand, just a little bit away from the body so that we don't roll over it. We roll onto it. We try to have the feet a little bit in the knees, into the chest a little. So as you roll on, you're lifting the bottom off the floor and that hand is underneath the bottom, underneath the outside of the leg. And you bring the top hand underneath the head, just surrender down. It's all about surrender, lying on top of the arm. Releasing on top of the arm, and you're seeing how much you can soften. Lazy, gravity lazy, softening onto that wrist to let the outside of your leg melt down. Now, sometimes the IT band can be so tough and so hard, and it can be really painful to lean onto this. So just see if you can soften, breathe deeply, and melt into it. How much can you surrender? And then from here, we maybe replace the hand somewhere else along the outside of the leg. So you could roll the bottom back to the floor, adjusting the hand just a little bit, a wrist's length or a little bit down the leg. We're going to do this a couple more times. You're seeing, can you get the knees towards the floor so the bottom comes off the floor? Unless you're really loose in the IT band and slim in the wrist, it's unlikely you can get the knee and the bottom to the floor at the same time. And the free hand can go underneath the head so you can be even lazy. All about being lazy. Surrendering down and feeling into that sensation, seeing how much you can soften and release into that sensation on the outside of the leg. Coming back to that deep breath that we started the class with. And when you need to, whenever you need to, feel free to adjust that hand a little bit further, maybe towards the knees or maybe towards the bottom. But as you get closer to the knees, you still need to get the bottom off the floor. So you're pouring the weight of the body down into the wrist, into the arm. Lazy, lazy, lazy. And see if you can find one more place along the outside of that leg. With the hand, releasing in. And slowly we release back onto the back. As we lie back onto the back, let's see if we can extend the left leg long and just hug the right knee in towards the chest. So just grab it with both hands and draw it towards you. As you pull that right knee in, think about lengthening the right side of the spine. So maybe it's a little bit like you're twisting the knee towards the left shoulder and the right hip towards the left heel. So you're trying to reach in, pull it in, and lengthen through the outside of that leg. almost emphasizing the stretch in the outside of the leg or the outside of the belly. With that deep breath. Strong with those arms, pulling in with those arms. And then see if you can slide down to grab hold of the ankle and see how much you might be able to extend that leg. And just putting the leg into extension, maybe the head comes off the floor a little, and just drawing that long, pulling with the arms. If you can, relaxing the head, the shoulders back to the floor and drawing the leg with you. Extending, pulling, reaching. And then let's bend that knee again and slide that leg forward. Second side, so if you can pull the left knee in towards you. Thinking about drawing that knee in and across towards the right shoulder, and at the same time lengthening the left side of the belly, the left side of the spine. So that left hip is reaching towards that right foot. Both of them want to come across the body, and the hands are pulling the leg in nice and strong. Can you lengthen the belly, lengthen the spine, and get the knee closer to you? And from here, let's see if we can reach down and grab hold of the ankle. Maybe we're lifting the head off the floor to begin to extend the leg. And then maybe you can begin to release head and shoulders back to the floor to stretch that leg a little bit more. And then slowly from here, let's come back. So we're going to see if we can make our happy baby. We're going to reach both feet up to the ceiling and grab hold of the heels. Thumbs on the inside, wrapping around the heels, fingers over the top of the heels. Grabbing those heels nice and good and strong and keeping those knees bent. Can you open the knees a little to the side and pull them down towards the floor? So the soles of the feet are pointing up to the ceiling. You're drawing those knees down, trying to ground into the tailbone, trying to get both knees to touch the floor and opening through the spine. How strong can you be with the arms? How much can you now pull? Working with gravity, trying to assist gravity to get those knees down deeper. And then from here, you can work with one or both legs at a time, seeing how much you can extend them wide into the strength. Opening, reaching through those legs nice and long, pulling them wide. How wide can you pull with the hands? How much can you kick the heels against the hands and try to lengthen the tailbone towards the floor? How much can you extend the knee and ground the back? Ground the back, ground that back, sink it back into the floor, lengthen through the belly. And then slowly from here we come back down with the feet. See if you can bring the soles of the feet to the floor. And we're just going to see if we can slide those hands up the knees as far as we can, getting the belly to work. And then rolling back down. We'll do this 5 times, maybe inhaling down. Curl up. Inhaling down. Exhaling as you curl through the spine. Inhaling, releasing. Exhaling, curling. And as we go there again, this time once you've curled up, see if you can keep that belly engaged. From here, we're going to try to lift the hips, to slide those hands back towards the hips and lift as tall as you can, grounding into the back of the feet, grounding into the back of the neck and the shoulder, engaging that bottom, lifting those hips nice and high, and then rolling down through the spine. We'll work that a few times, so rounding up and forwards to reach those hands towards the knee. Pressing through those feet to roll the spine, the head, the shoulders back down to the floor by lifting the hips. And then releasing down to the floor by rolling down vertebrae at a time. Rolling up the spine to reach those hands to the knees. Lifting the hips without bringing the shoulders down so that you keep the roll in the spine. And then slowly releasing down through the spine, vertebrae at a time. One last one. Rounding, curling up with the upper spine. Keep that head lifted, but then lift the hips. So the hips lifting rolls the head to the floor. Lift those hips as tall as you can, and then slowly rolling all the way back down, vertebrae at a time. And then let's see if we can roll over using those hands on the floor. So we're going to see, can we press those hands into the floor and just draw those knees up and see how far you can go, rolling up the spine and then rolling back down, reaching those feet to over the head. Pressing the hands into the floor behind you and seeing how much you could roll. Maybe the bottom is heavy and tricky. And then rolling back down. And 2 more goes to try to draw those knees into the chest, to press the hands into the floor behind. And rolling back down. So if that's really tough, you might want to be swinging the legs to have a little bit of momentum. So you could start by throwing the legs a little and pressing into the hands. If you want to try another variation, we bring the hands over the head. And see if you can try to draw those knees up and over the head and reach the feet towards the head. And when you're ready to, rolling back down. And if you don't get all the way, don't worry. Just work it 2 or 3 times. If you're comfortable with it, try to work it in more slow motion. And maybe you make it all the way over, or maybe it's a day where you don't make it at all far. And then next time you're back down onto the floor, we just take a simple twist of the spine. So extending the left leg long and just drawing the right knee across the body and seeing how we can really extend the belly, extend the spine, giving the right hand out to the side and gazing over to the right hand. Maybe you begin to open the right knee a little, extend the right knee a little, and just reach through the body, twisting through the spine. A few deep breaths into our twist. And then rolling all the way onto the left side so that you can bring that right hand behind the back. You get that right hand into the shoulder blade or as high at the back as you can. We just gently roll back onto that right arm, onto the back again with the hand behind. And see if you can just release the shoulder down, melt the shoulder down. If you wish, you can massage that right arm with the left hand. And while you're lying on that right arm with the right arm behind the back, maybe you want to see how far over to the right side could you twist. So maybe there's a possibility you can roll a little bit onto that right arm, if that's not too torturous. And then from there, slowly rolling back onto the back. And back onto the left side to release that right arm from behind the back. We roll back onto the back and simply draw the left knee across the body, right leg extended. Opening a little bit the back of the right knee, left arm out to the side. Just simply feeling that twist through the spine. Gazing down to the left arm for completeness of the spine twist. Head to tail. Using that deep breath. From here, rolling all the way onto the right side and bringing the left hand into the back, into its own armpit if you could reach it that high. Otherwise, just as high up the back as you can, elbow close to the body and rolling back onto the back. Releasing down, seeing how much you can surrender down into the shoulders, into that left shoulder. Maybe you give it a little bit of a massage. Give it a lot of breath. So if it's very intense, just taking your time here is a wonderful thing. If you want to take a little bit more in depth into the twist and the stretch on the shoulder, see how much you might be able to roll on top of that left arm. Like you're trying to get out the wrong way, going the wrong way first, just feeling into the intensity. Another deep breath or two. And we'll come back out onto the right side to release that left arm. So do that, see if you can come in with both knees and see if you can hook the elbows beyond the legs. Maybe you can grab hold of the elbows, keep the feet in line, parallel next to each other. Gaze between the gap of the arms and the legs and then see how much you can surrender back of the head to the floor. Can you still see the feet? Can you get your tailbone to the floor too? So you're lengthening the back of the neck, pulling those knees into the chest and grounding down through the back of the spine. From here, try to grab hold of the ankles and see how far you can extend the legs. Both legs together, pull them long, and then extend those knees, point those toes strong through those thighs. From here, try to relax the body back. Try to pull those feet in deeper. Can you get your tailbone down to the floor? Can you lengthen the tailbone down? Can you lengthen the shoulders down and straighten those legs? How far can you go? Pointing those toes, reaching long. And then slowly from here, we release. Let's see if we can grab the back of the knees and look towards the knees, but try and keep the kidneys on the floor. So rolling up through the spine. Now push those feet forwards. Pull the arms long and see if you can keep going until you can pull the body up to sitting. Reaching through those feet, ideally in slow motion. But if you need, you can swing those legs a little faster. And as we come up to sitting, let's just bring the knees, comfortable cross-legged position, opening the knees wide and folding the body down, folding the body forward. As you curl and release the body down and forwards, come back to the breath. And folding, releasing down. See if you can curl and twist the body to one side, to the right side first. Lengthening into the left side of the spine, to the left back. And then round to the other side, twisting across the other way. Surrendering down nice and deep. Breathing fully. here, let's come up and let's open through the heart, through the chest. Lengthen into that front spine. Squeeze those shoulder blades together as much as you can. Can you lengthen into the chin, the underside of the tongue? Can you lift the chest even taller? Stretching through that front spine and then slowly coming back up. Let's bring those feet over to the side. Feet to the side, sitting bottom down on maybe the left side, reaching the left hand up. If your bottom is on the right side, reaching the right hand up and over to extend that side spine. And then from here, take the bottom hand across to the opposite knee and twist as much as you can, belly to the ceiling, extending through that top arm. Can you now straighten that elbow? See if you can reach the elbow, and as you reach the elbow, can you extend and lift the shoulder blade with it? The shoulders coming up towards the ears and breathing into that side body. And then from here, see if you could twist across and turning down. Maybe you could grab the heel or reach to the heel or the foot and just try to twist and gaze over the back shoulder as much as you can. Use the fingers on the floor, grab hold of that leg to pull the body into the twist. And slowly we come back round to the other side, the knees to the second side. If it's the right buttock down on the floor, the right hand up. If it's the left buttock down, left hand up. And you reach up and over as far as you can. From here, we're going to grab hold of the knee with the bottom hand and try to twist as much as we can to look beyond the armpit. Try and extend that top arm as far as possible. So as you extend the elbow, reaching that shoulder up to stretch into the side, into the belly a little bit more. Breathe and reach, and maybe even lean behind you as you twist and pull with that opposite arm on the knee to turn the body a little further. And slowly we come all the way back up. And as we come back up, seeing how much we can twist across the leg. Maybe you could grab the ankle or the heel with that top hand that's come down. The back hand behind you is used on the floor to twist, to reach a little further. Use the strength of the arms, use the breath. Gazing over that back shoulder. And then slowly coming back through center. Let's see if we can come into a little cat-cow place. So hands and knees on the floor. Working through the spine, lengthening into the back body, pressing into those fingers into the floor, rounding through the back of the spine, pushing the hands and the knees away from each other. And see if you could take maybe 2 or 3 breaths to really open into the back body. See if you can go deeper with each breath. So you can maybe push a little further with the hands and knees trying to slide away from each other. But the movement doesn't want to be in the hands or the knees, it wants to be in the spine. So that spine is curling, rounding deeper. And then we find the opposite shape of the spine and the opposite action in the hands and the knees. So we're now lengthening the belly and sliding the hands towards the knees. And can you take a few breaths here, lengthening the belly a little bit longer? Can you find that the shoulders can come wide away from the ears, the neck long, the belly long? Can you feel that pull in the belly, that reach in the belly as you try and slide those hands towards the knee? And again, feeling that it's the spine that's changing. And then from here, we're going to lean into the right hand and reach that left hand nice and tall and wide. And take a few breaths to pour the weight down into the right hand, to open the left hand as tall and wide as you can. Make sure there's no tension in the neck. Make sure you're reaching even further, even wider, even taller through that top hand. Can you lift and lengthen through the chest with that reach of the arm? And then as we thread the needle, we're reaching that hand round in front, seeing if we can draw the weight down to the back of the arm, even to the shoulder. See if you can pour into the shoulder, and maybe that front hand, that right hand can come round over the head. Maybe you press it into the floor, both arms, or that front hand could become Reaching round to the hip behind you to help twist the spine. Breathing here, reaching, turning the spine, turning the shoulders a little deeper. And slowly we come back through center, pushing down to come up and open. Let's go one more time. Reach wide as you possibly can. Open wide through those hands, through the heart, through the chest. Little movement through the head and the neck if there's any tension. And as you feed that top arm through, again, feeding it through in front, reaching as far as you can. This time, maybe you can roll a little bit more to the back of the head, the back of the neck, and let that right knee come off the floor, or the front knee come off the floor. And see if you can pour the weight into the shoulder to allow that shoulder to be pushed away from the ear. Breathing, surrendering down. Making sure you're gentle on the neck. And then slowly coming back up and working the same on the second side. So leaning down into that left arm and nice and wide and tall, reaching, opening, extending. Can you feel the push down into the bottom arm? Can you feel that that opens and reaches into the bottom shoulder? Can you reach the top arm up and open and wide, even taller? Can you take a breath or two to extend and expand further into the pose? Maybe you can find another millimeter, another inch. How much more space can you find as you reach that arm? Do you feel anything in the belly, in the hips? When you need to, when you want to change, threading the needle, hand underneath the opposite arm, reaching as far as you can, shoulder down to the floor, pressing maybe into the back of the arm. Maybe that top arm can reach over the head to open the armpit, or out behind, or round for the hip. Can you work deeper with the breath, allowing you to reach further into the pose? Let's go again, grounding down to open up and wide. One more time. And feeding through that arm when you're ready. And maybe this time as you roll onto the back, onto the side, you can lean a little bit more towards the head, drawing the back of the neck towards the floor. The inside knee maybe becoming a little bit light, a little bit lifted off the floor. Lazy with the weight of the body down. Onto the shoulder, onto the arm, onto the neck. And then slowly from here, coming back through center. Let's see if we can take one leg forward, maybe the right leg to begin with. And we're just forwards in a lunge, just sinking forwards into the hips. Left knee grounded, but maybe quite far behind us. And we're coming up with the body and lengthening into the belly. And just take a few breaths, trying to encourage the hips deepen forwards, the belly long. If you want to extend those arms up and back, feel free. I quite like keeping my hands on the knee because I can encourage that knee in towards the midline. So it's the right knee in towards the left side as I try to send my hips down and forwards and lengthen into the belly. When you're ready, let's come over the right knee with the left arm. So we're seeing, can we find that twist? Reaching, so pressing the back of the arm, maybe hands together, sending that right knee further forwards. Maybe you wish to bind. Maybe that left arm can come underneath the leg, the right hand behind the back. Maybe you stay in a prayer. Either way, try to twist that chest towards the right side, towards the ceiling. So maybe you're pressing the prayer towards the midline of the body, arm and leg squeezing. Try to send that front knee further forwards. So pull the back leg into more extension as you breathe. And then from here, let's come back and extend that front leg nice and long. Stretching through the back of the leg, pull the toes towards you. How much can you lengthen forwards towards those toes? How much can you stick your bottom out behind you? Extend the leg, press the heel into the floor. Imagine you're sliding the heel backwards and trying to send your chin up and forwards. Here, extend the belly as much as you can from where you are by pushing the back of the leg into the floor. Reach into the sensation, feel into the sensation. Feel into that back leg, nice and long. And then we'll come forwards, and as we come forwards, feel free to bring the right hand down to the inside and the left hand up. Or if you prefer to, you can see if you combine inside of the leg and open that left shoulder up towards the ceiling. If you're bound, maybe you can think about extending that top left arm all the way. So you're trying to straighten that left arm as you twist. And gaze towards the ceiling. From here, we're going to release those hands, extending that front leg long again. Open the toes wide out to the side. See if you can get the little toe down towards the floor by turning the leg out. And then from here, with a bit of a flex in the foot. So you're not pointing the toes, but you're more flexing the foot. Fold down towards that leg as deep down as you can. And then slowly from here, we come back and we'll swap sides. So just bringing that right leg back, left leg forwards. Maybe walking out in the dog if you need. As we come forward, sinking forward through the hip, seeing if we can come up with the body, hands towards the front thigh, back leg nice and long, opening through that front spine, opening through that right hip, sinking those hips down and forwards, lengthening into the belly, arms flying to extend up. If you can, squeezing that left knee into towards the midline. So left knee towards the right as you send those hips forward, shoulders forward. Breathing, reaching. And then we're taking ourselves into the twist. So right arm over that front left leg. Hands could be in prayer or you could be binding around the back and under the leg. Reaching, twisting, trying to bring the left shoulder up towards the ceiling more. Trying to sink forwards and deep as much as you can through the hips. And slowly from here, release. We come back and extend that left leg nice and long. See how much you can extend the knee. And then we're trying to pull the toes to the face and try to slide that heel back. Here we want to extend the spine forwards, the belly, the chest forwards. Can you reach a little bit longer? Open through that front spine more than down. So maybe the belly is going to come down towards the thigh, but you're trying to lengthen forwards and you're trying to send the tailbone out behind you. Heart and chest opening, feel into the sensation, reach into the sensation. See if you can breathe into that and just be sinking a little deeper. And again, we come forwards, bending that front knee. So we can be left hand down to the floor, inside of the leg, right hand opening wide. Or if you prefer, you can go into the bind, left hand under the leg, right hand coming into the bind. And if you're binding the hand, try to extend that top right arm as you send that front knee forward. Try to pull that right arm straight, that top arm extended, so it's activating, reaching, twisting. If you're not binding, that top arm is reaching up to the ceiling, opening the heart, the chest, squeezing that left arm against that left leg. Steady with the breath. And then slowly from here, we come all the way back with the bottom again. Back with the bottom, extend the left leg long, flexing the foot so we're almost the position we were just before moments ago. And then we turn the toes, the little toes out to the side to see if we can get them down to the floor. From here, we're seeing how much can we fold over the leg with those toes out to the side. Stretching into the outside of the leg, folding and releasing down. And slowly we come back. Let's come back into our downward dog. So we come back into our downward dog. We bring the left leg back. We walk those feet out. Take maybe a moment to stretch one heel to the floor, one leg into extension, belly long. Breath or two, and then the other side. Breath or two with that second leg long. So walking out those legs, but really giving them time to extend, giving time to feel into the stretch into the hamstring, rather than being in a really rushed walk, a lazy stroll. Think Sunday morning, newspaper. Taking your time to look through, reach through. And then coming steady with both legs and seeing if you can bring support into the right hand. Let's see if we can reach the back of the knee or slide down further towards the heel of the opposite leg. Can you twist the spine and be strong through that front arm that's on the floor? How much can you turn the shoulder? How much can you keep the hips steady where they are? Let's turn to the second side so we come back through the regular dog, reaching support into that strong arm that's going to keep us there. Three-legged dog, reaching the free hand down the back of the leg, knee sliding down if you can, all the way to the heel. Take your gaze under the shoulder, twist those shoulders, twist the spine. Steady and deep with the breath. And when you're ready, coming back through center. See if you can do the same again, but this time we're going to try and hold the same leg with the hands. We're trying to reach for the inside heel of the same leg. And now we're trying to untwist the shoulders. We're trying to keep those shoulders as straight and steady as you can, like it's a four-legged dog, but one of your hands has reached for the back of its own leg. So you're putting on that leg to try and square the spine and feeling that force running through the spine to mark it very different from that last pose. And then same on the second side, so grounding through that one hand, reaching back, maybe the same side leg. You're seeing if you can now draw your shoulders. If your right hand is reaching back to the right leg, your left shoulder is trying to push and reach towards the left leg, and the right shoulder is trying to pull away from the right leg. To square those shoulders, just steady through the spine. And then both hands down to the floor. Let's see if we can bring our knees down, bottom to the heels. We're going to bring the elbows down to the floor. Now, we're going to try and keep elbows, forearms, everything steady in alignment. And see if you can pour a little bit of weight into those arms. Maybe you can lift one leg up towards the ceiling. Just work into a down dog split. Maybe you want to reach all the way up into a forearm stand and try and keep both legs up. Or you could work a kick switch to work your jumping to swap the legs. Or just swap the legs and have the second leg up to the ceiling when you're ready. Lengthening tall, pushing forward into the hands, lifting tall through that top leg. And if you want to kick switch one or two more times, do. Otherwise, slowly bringing those knees down to the floor. See if you can bring the bottom back down to the heels when you're ready. And just take a little moment in your child pose. Deep breath into the belly. And then reaching the child pose round to the side. See how much you can extend those arms and lengthen them over to the side. Surrender the head down, the shoulders down. And round to the second side. See how far you can reach and extend through that side spine. From here, let's bring ourselves all the way forwards and down to the floor. Belly on the floor, see if you can make a star. So you're going to bring the legs a little wide, the hands nice and wide and forward. And just see how much space you can take up on the floor. How much can you release down and spread yourself. And from here, see if you can now try to reach that right leg over. Leave the right hand long and forwards and reach that right leg over beyond the left leg behind you, extending it round to lengthen into the belly. Now don't try to reach it to the left hand, but reach it away from the right hand to create as much length as you can. Can you feel that body extending and reaching? Maybe the left ear comes down to the floor and you can look to the right hand. How much length can you find? How much reach can you find? And then we come back through center, rolling back onto the belly. Do the same with the left leg. So the left leg is now going to reach away from the left hand as far and away as you can. Maybe the right ear comes to the floor. Left hand is reaching away from the left leg, reaching away from the left hand, creating a long top left side stretch through the belly. And then we come all the way back into the middle. Now we're going to take a different trajectory with that right leg. So the right leg's now going to try and reach for that left hand. Arms are still wide and long and extended. It doesn't matter how close that right leg gets to the left hand, but see if it can reach to the left hand. Don't let the left hand reach for the right leg. Let the left hand be above the ear and extending long. So the right leg has to make the journey. Can you open and lengthen into the belly, into the hip here? And then gently back through center, arms wide and slightly high from the head. See if you can bring that left foot round, making a journey, trying to reach for the right hand. So now there's a little bit more arch in the back. If that feels too strong, you can go back down just away from the left hand. Otherwise, reaching taller, twisting a little higher, extending round. And then slowly rolling back through center. Now let's see if we can bring the hands in line with the shoulders. Nice and simple, rolling onto the right arm. And just bringing the left foot behind the right knee to find that twist. Any variations you like, knees together, one knee, both knees reaching over. Variations with the left hand, reaching forwards or over the head, behind the back. And same on the other side, left arm nice and wide, right foot behind that left knee. Any variation you like, find as much twist as is good for the spine. It's good for your spine. Maybe just one knee up to the ceiling. Maybe you can ground into that foot. Maybe that's tricky. Maybe both feet together and squeezing those knees together. Maybe you're trying to take the knees to the floor behind you, enjoying that twist into the spine. Rolling back through center. We do one with the back of the arm on the floor again. Enjoy the twist as much as you can. So go to a nice depth. The back of the hand on the floor, so you rolled over the thumb. Back of the shoulder on the floor. Very different twist. Palm facing down. Seeing where you get to, where your spine says, And also on the other side. releasing back onto your belly. Seeing if you can take an extension through the front spine, reaching into an upward dog. Doesn't matter if you get all the way there, but just extending into the belly. And then see how much you can lengthen the belly forwards and down along the floor. And as you release down to the upper belly, seeing if you can bring the hands underneath the forehead, let the heels drop wide and the toes touching or reaching in towards each other. Adjusting the thighs if you need to, releasing the head down onto the hand. And finding that deep breath into the belly that we started the session with. Breathing into the belly. Breathing into the chest. Breathing out of the chest. And breathing out of the belly. Breathing into the belly. Breathing into the chest. Breathing out of the chest. And breathing out of the belly. Breathe in belly. Breathe in chest. Breathe out chest. Breathe out belly. When you're ready, finding a little movement in the hips, rolling the hips side to side, maybe coming up onto the elbows and just wriggling, moving a little through the shoulders. Let's see if we can gently roll, pushing through the arms to bring ourselves back to a child pose, bottom back to the heels, and then rolling the tailbone down to gently roll ourselves up to sitting. So that's it for today. Hope that's a good class for you. And see you next time.